thank you. That's how I'm going to start this video, with a heartfelt thank you. Thank you to everyone that watches this channel. I'm always thankful of everyone being here, but a particular thank you to every single person that came up to me and said hello while I was over in Vegas for NAB. I met tons of you on this trip, more than I've ever met previously, and you're all awesome. Every single person that came up to me was super lovely and ace and mega, and I love meeting you all, and you're all super nice about me and the channel and everything else, so thanks. Really, just a big old thank you. So yeah, hello everyone, it's Alex here, MrAlexTech. I'm back from NAB, so I figured I'd hop on and give you guys a bit of an update. Now, this is a somewhat unscripted coffee chat kind of nonsense waffly video, so if you're after a super succinct update of all the things Blackmagic and everything else, probably not the right one. But let's just hang out for 10-15 minutes and talk about all the stuff that's been going on, because I want to talk about it, so why not? So first of all, how was NAB? It was awesome. It's a really cool show to go to. If you're in the States and you can get there, I highly recommend it. It's an expo, so you kind of know what to expect. You get to walk around, look at the brands, introduce yourself. That's all kind of fun. But the main reason you go is for the people. Hi. I got to hang out with, obviously, Casey Farris, Darren, Jay was there, Daria, all these super fun, super cool people, so that's always mega. I got to hang out with Blackmagic and meet loads of the Blackmagic staff who I'd never met before, which was super cool. Also really weird when some of those are like, hey, I recognize you, love your videos. That's always super, super awesome, but really weird. It's a strange thing. There was one guy that came up to me and he was like, I watch your videos to learn about what we've put into Davinci Resolve, which I thought was super funny. And it's because they work in their own department, so he may just spend months and months working on one separate thing. He doesn't actually see all the other stuff. So he hops onto my channel to see what's been going on. And I just thought that was super cool. I also got to meet Grant Petty, which is something I've always wanted to do. Got to introduce myself to Grant. I need to take a second to say another big thank you to someone. I can't remember your name, but I introduced myself to Grant. I was like, hello, I'm Alex, and I make dumb videos on the internet. This other gentleman, again, sorry, I don't know your name, just butted in and was like, this guy's the best, he makes great videos, and you really sold me, like way more than I could ever do. So you made me look good in front of Grant, which is really, really awesome. So thank you very much for that, whoever you are. Oh, I also got to nerd out with a bunch of the Fusion guys, which was super handy. I put a community post up the other day mentioning that Davinci Resolve 19 has kind of broke my Magic Animate tool. I was able to run through that with some of the Fusion guys. They have no idea what's gone wrong. It shouldn't have broken. It's a random, super tiny UI thing that's going on. They're going to go and have a look at it. It probably won't go to the top of the pile. Obviously, they have bigger fish to fry, but hopefully at some point now we'll fix that bug. So anyone using the Magic Animate version 3 will be fine to use that in Davinci Resolve 19. Fingers crossed. I also bought a bum bag, or a fanny pack, as you Americans call it, which still makes me laugh. So I'm at that age where I'm quite willing to wear a fanny pack, but I laugh at the fact that it's called a fanny pack. I think that's about midlife crisis age, to be honest, but I've got a bum bag and I like it. It's by this really sweet company called Holdland. It's like just a husband and wife company, so have a look at them if you're at the same age as me and you want a bum bag / fanny pack. So what was actually going on? Well, in this video, we're going to mostly just talk about Blackmagic, obviously, because that's the thing that most of you guys are interested in. So let's talk about it. Pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Yeah! Now, the first thing, obviously, Davinci Resolve 19, which I've already talked about on the channel. If you've missed it, I've done a full Davinci Resolve 19 overview. I'll link that down below somewhere. And it has loads of cool stuff. There's the film look creator, which I'm going to create a video on this week, so keep your eye out for that. There's loads of new music tools, AI tools. It's just a really good update, actually. It has loads of fun new things within it, and I can't wait for that to go live so that everyone can get their hands on it. Now, they also released, or at least they announced, they didn't release, let me take that back. Take it back, Al. They announced the Blackmagic camera app for Android. Now, again, I did a little video on that. I've linked that down below. And this is cool that this is coming because they didn't announce this anywhere. It wasn't online. There wasn't any big signs for it. They literally just had the Blackmagic app sign, the one they've used before, but the phones were different. They were running on Android, and they didn't make a song and dance about it. It wasn't until I got there, and one of the guys was like, "Have you seen the phones?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, Android." So that's when I made my little video. But that is coming. I don't know when, but I've been told soon, you know, not in the distant future, not in months and months and months away, but sometime in not too long, it will be coming to Android. There was no mention of a log format or a Blackmagic RAW or any kind of format like that. And I did dig through the app and I couldn't see anything at all. That may come. They may be holding that back for another time, but it doesn't look like it's there at the moment. Now, as mentioned in the original video, it is coming. It will be free. It will have some sort of staggered release. It's going to come out on certain devices first, and then they'll release it on other devices later. That may still be limited. It won't go to every single Android device ever, because obviously some of them are too old and won't do the things they want it to do. As it potentially may not have log, we don't know. We don't know yet. If it doesn't have log, what's the main benefit? The main benefit of using it is just that you get the interface. You get the Blackmagic interface, which is nice, but the real selling point is this Blackmagic cloud workflow. So it will generate the proxies, it will automatically upload them to your project, so as soon as you turn your computer on at home, that will download everything, and then you can just start editing with a real nice, lightweight proxy format. It's a really cool workflow. I think they're still trying to iron out the creases here and there, but generally it does work really quite well. Next up, there was something which I didn't think I was going to be that interested in, to be honest, and then I was kind of interested in. Hang on. But they have released or are releasing the Blackmagic Davinci Resolve micro panel, and it's affordable. It is quite cheap in this whole world of panels and color grading stuff. It's currently listed at £498 online, so about 500 quid. That's including VAT. It's similar in the US. It's going to be about 500 bucks, and it's this teeny tiny color grading panel, and it really is small, and it really is light, and it really is portable, and it's nice to use. So you've got all of your control knobs, trackballs, and transport keys, and all this sort of thing. And basically, if you've never looked at any of this color grading stuff, it just means that you can do more precise color grading and you can do it faster. You can adjust things with much more control, and you can adjust multiple different things at the same time. Speaking to Darren in the past, that's the big thing. You can make tiny adjustments, and then you can bring up your gain or bring it down your shadows and all that sort of stuff. You can do it all at the same time to really tweak the image in one big go, rather than having to do everything individually. And being so small and light, you don't need a dedicated desk for this. You can just push your keyboard out the way, grab the panel. You can either plug it in via USB Type-C, or it will connect via Bluetooth, do all your color grading, and then you can chuck it out the way. So from that regard, it's kind of like the speed editor, which just makes the whole thing much more accessible. And it just looks handy. There's a little port so you can drop your iPad in it, so you can do it on an iPad if you want to. Or of course, you connect it to your PC or your MacBook or whatever you want. If I do get one, I'll do like a beginner's guide, and I'll do some videos on how to get into that side of thing from an idiot's point of view, from my point of view, rather than a colorist who's been using a panel for years and switching to it. I'll be like, I've never used a panel. Here's how I use it. So I'd like to get hold of one of them so I can make some content around it, just like that. If that makes sense, if that's interesting to you, let me know down below. Next up, they introduced a couple of new cameras. There's kind of 2/3 new cameras, and we're going to talk about the Blackmagic PYXIS camera first, which I think is a slightly strange name. I don't know where they got the name from. I couldn't find any reference to it, but it's called the PYXIS, and it is a 6K full frame camera in a box format. It's a little boxy thing, and I got to have a little look at it, got to have a little play with it. It seems cool, actually. It's not for me. I'm not the audience for it, to be honest. But as soon as they announced the Cinema 6K, which was like this time last year, I think, all of the filmmakers online were like, that's great. We don't like that body. We don't like that pocket style body. Please, can we have a box camera? So what they've essentially done is taken all of that camera, all of the innards of that camera, and turned it into a box camera, which you can rig up however you like. It's a full frame 6K sensor with open gate 3x2 and anamorphic support. You can get it in EF, PL, or L mount. 13 stops of dynamic range. It will record in H.264 and Blackmagic RAW, all that sort of thing. And it has the cloud workflow built in, which is pretty cool. Now, there's been some uproar on the internet. Cameras, man. Cameras and phones. People get super weird about cameras and phones on the internet. So One of the things is a lack of ND. So some of the previous cameras have got built-in ND filters. This doesn't have any NDs. And the other thing is the screen. So the screen is on the side. The screen allows you to customize all your settings, do what you need to do, and it is the only way to view the video without buying any external stuff. So it doesn't come with the viewfinder by default, and it doesn't come with any other display, so you have to be looking on the side. Now, my view on that, it's a box camera. A lot of them don't come with any displays at all. If you have a look at the BS1H, for example, by Panasonic, no displays at all on that. So it's kind of a given. You kind of expected to rig it up. But I don't know, people get mad about things, so there you go. Now, the price point is really quite reasonable. It's listed, I found it online, for £2,900, including VAT. So about £3,000, which is not bad at all. Again, compared to similar cameras, if you look across the range, it's really quite affordable, and I think it's going to be really popular. Now, personally, I won't be buying a PYXIS because, well, I'm not the target audience, and I have this. So this is my Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II X, and it does pretty much the same thing in a body, which to me makes a whole lot more sense. It's not quite as good, don't get me wrong. If I want to record in Blackmagic RAW, I need the video assist, but I can strip this down, I can use it to go take photos, and then I can rig it up and I can get Blackmagic RAW. I can attach my anamorphic lenses to this, and I've got anamorphic support. And Panasonic have just released a massive new firmware update for the S5 II and the S5 IIX, which adds even better image stabilization and even better autofocus and a proxy workflow. So for me, personally, that makes a whole lot more sense. It's L mount, so it's the same mount. So if I decide to pick up a PYXIS in the future, I can, and I can use all my lenses. So you've got options, and options are always good. On a similar note, Blackmagic have reduced the prices of the two video assists, both the 12G, so the 4K versions. There's a 5-inch and a 7-inch, and they've reduced the prices of both of those, which is a good thing. So again, if you are going down the Lumix route and you want the Blackmagic RAW, you can do it much more affordably now because the video assists are that little bit more affordable. I'm also going to slap the anamorphics on this over the next few days and go out and record a load of vlog stuff, so I can do a really nice demonstration with that film look creator. So as mentioned, stick around on the channel because that will be coming soon. The film look creator is super cool, and I'm excited to talk about it a little bit more. Next up, they announced the Big Daddy camera. So this is the Blackmagic Ursa Cine 12K. Now I've had to make notes on this so I can remember. I didn't spend much time with this, to be honest. They had it out. I had a quick look. It looks fancy, but it's so outside of my wheelhouse. I can't really provide much context, or I can't really talk about it all that much because it's not something I'm ever going to use or ever really going to have any need for. It's a large format, full frame 12K sensor, 16 stops of dynamic range. It can record Blackmagic RAW up to 12K, 3x2 open gate, and it comes with a PL, LPL, EF, and Hasselblad mount. There's built-in NDs, there's a flippy out screen, it will work with the Blackmagic workflow. It can do some crazy frame rates too, like it can do 8K up to, I think it's 240 frames per second, which is mad, and all of that will cost you about 15 grand. So again, not something I'm going to be looking at, but it's cool that it's there. And even then, 15 grand, tons of money, but if you compare it to a lot of the other stuff on the market, it's on the cheaper side. So there you go. Now they also announced, it's not available yet, but there is a 17K version coming. Now this is interesting because by the sounds of it, it's a completely custom sensor which Blackmagic have designed and built themselves. And 17K is huge. It's massive. It's IMAX levels of resolution. For you photography nerds like me, it's 140 megapixels per frame. It's massive. It's giant. Now, obviously, that's not going to be cheap. If the 12K version is 15 grand, this is going to be a lot more expensive. So it's high-end stuff that I'm not going to have a look at or ever have any need for. If they want to send me one, I'll film something silly with it. I don't think they're going to send me one. Best of the rest, they also added a new dedicated panel for people that do live productions. Again, not something I really dug into too much because I don't really have a need for. And I know a lot of you guys that watch my stuff, it's super niche. It's not really for us. But I've put some links down below if you want to go check them out for yourself. That was kind of NAB. It was loads of fun. I got to hang around with cool people and talk to Blackmagic and bore some of the Fusion guys talking about Magic Animate. So I had an absolutely great time, and I can't wait until next year where I can go again. If you are thinking about going next year, please do. And then please come and say hello to me as well, because that's my favourite bit. I'm going to go to IBC. That's my next big show, which is it's kind of NAB, but over in Europe. It's based in the Netherlands. So I will be there in September. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.